Good morning and sliding into afternoon here. Judy, Allan, San Antonio, Texas with Adventurous Stamping. And so today I'm going to give you a little bit of information and behind the scenes of the winter retreat, which the deadline is tomorrow if you wanted to sign up. And it's actually on February the 11th. But I'm just going to share with you some of the behind the scenes. I'm going to even give you a sneak peek of one of the cards just to give you an idea if you've never even seen a retreat to know what it's about, right? Because people think we're going to a retreat, like, you know, different churches go to retreat and all. Well, this is a retreat to escape everything, and we go out and create for a day, all right? And we create 18 cards in a day. We create 3D projects and some make and takes. We have 3 this time. And we also do bingo in the evening. So it's an all-day fun to get away from everything so we can spoil you, we can create together, and that's what's fun. So let me go down the hands and give you some of that sneak peek and tell you a little bit about it and show you. And then we're going to make 2 cards, all right? All right, let's do this. It's all about let's getting it done, all right? So this is actually one of the cards that we have from the retreat. And I just want to show you because this is really, if you have not seen By the Bay, it is gorgeous paper. I can make cards all day long with it. But this is just an example. So we usually, just like we do on what we do on Wednesdays, where we start simple and step it up, we do it at the retreat as well too, because we have 4 different sessions. And the first 3 sessions, we make 6 cards each session, so that's how we get our 18. And we sit there and make a variety of different designs and so forth. So this is one of the ones that we designed. We pre-cut. So when you see all this here, we pre-cut the paper. You do the stamping, right? But we do all the pre-cutting. We do the die cutting. So, for example, this clamshell's die cut. There's some other things on here that are die cut as well, too. But, so we do all of that. So basically, when we're live with you during the retreat and all, we are sitting down and you, as well as us, are making this card together, right? So we're doing it step by step. We're doing it together. This is actually a different type of fold, and we've actually got where this is actually, anyway, I'm not going to tell you all the secrets, but anyway, just to give you an idea. So it's not like you're doing it creating on your own. I spend a lot of time creating cards for the retreats. If I look a little tired, I am. So like I said, this is a die cut. And then what happens is everything comes in a package just like this for you. So you've got the envelope, you've got the card stock, and then you have the designer's 3 paper and everything else that is cut and pre-cut is in here. Now, we do send embellishments, so like these are embellishments or bling, whatever you can call them. So we send you bling, so you get extra bling, you get extra stuff. It's not just what's in here. We send a goodie bag with extra stuff in it and all. But for sure, we make sure you have all the bling that you need, everything that we're using to create the card, and we make sure you have more. All right. So in addition to that, so we don't do any of the stamping. You have to do your own stamping. So like this here, if you did not have this stamp, that's fine. Then substitute your own stamp, right? Because this could be a birthday card, this could be a sympathy card, this can be a hello card. It can be anything you want it to be, right? So you decide what message you want. If you want the same messages that we use, that's fine. We let you know in advance which stamp sets we're going to be using. We also give you PDF tutorials. I'm not giving you one from this one, but what I've done is here's like one from the past. So what we do is give you a picture of the card that you're going to be making, and then in addition to this, we give you the details of how to make it. So this is actually from the fall retreat. This is so we start simple and step up. So this is in between, and then this is where we really stepped it up here. So as you can see, when we step up, there's more details. But we already die cut the stuff here. You just had to do the stamping, and then we worked on assembling. But it gives you all, we give you all the PDF tutorials as well too. So you get 18 PDF tutorials as well as a PDF tutorial for the 3D project. And I was trying to think what else. We have bingo, so we finish out with bingo. So that's always fun, fun, fun. So I just wanted to at least give you that information. If you have any questions, hello, Linda Trammell. I am trying to make sure I can see if I can stay in contact with people today. And I'm glad to know that you are doing good, lady. Whoop, whoop. So It's like I said, so tomorrow's the last day, but I just want to at least give you a snippet. We also record our lives, so those are available as well too. But only if you're, so like when you see all this and everything all, so it's only available if you sign up for the retreat, right? It's not going to happen just coming to my Wednesdays or whatever. I mean, we do have classes, and I have classes that will be doing that. You could get that, but again, you have to sign up for it, or you have to decide that you just want the tutorials only. Alright, so let's make the cards for today. And this is really cool. What I want to show you is this stamp. You can, I've already got them up here, and I'm going to show you how we can do on both sides. This is reversible stamps. So what this means is I can stamp with this side, or I can flip this over and stamp with a different side here, and we get two different looks. And I'm going to stamp that for you right now because I'm going to use it no matter what. And I wanted to show you because it does. It's really cool. They don't make the reversible stamps very often. This is the first one I've used, okay? But I'm going to show you how it's going to work. So this is actually, this turtle here is a very big turtle, and the stamp set also came with a very small turtle. I'm going to use a small turtle, but I'm just going to show you this big turtle because I actually have already stamped it. Versamark. So if you don't know the difference, this is ink here, and we use Pool Party, and this is Versamark. And this Versamark, when you stamp it, it's just clear. It's what we use for doing heat embossing, but I'm going to also show you where I stamped with it and show you what the different looks are. So this is no more than a 4 by 5 and a quarter paper. And all I'm going to do, this is like, so when it's a big stamp like this, you want to just make sure you get it inked up really well. And I used a light color, so you can't tell that too good, and that's okay. We'll know when I stamp it. So I'm going to double check this, because this really makes me think this looks really much longer than I'm thinking it is. Let me size this down, because this is like, should be 5 1/4, and it's like about a little more than 5 1/2. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to stamp this to this side here, where I visualize is the middle. And then I'll cut it down in just a minute. Alright, so that's side one, okay? So let me clean this up, and I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when you do the other. So yes, if you're out there, whether you're watching live or you watch replay, if you watch replay, just put replay. It's all about knowing that you're out there, and we do drawings at the end of the month, so we make sure to put you in the drawing. Alright, so I've reversed it now, and you're going to see what the difference is once we reverse it. I'm just double checking to make sure I did the same thing on the same side. Okay. Alright, so see how this is here? So this was more like the shadow. It gives you more of the shadow look of the turtle, and you have this look here. Alright, I'm going to cut this down because we're going to use this, and we're going to use one I already made. So let me show you the one I already made. I shouldn't say made, it's stamped, right? I haven't made a card yet, but I'm going to use... I've actually stamped this twice. Like I said, once in Versamark, and then here. So here's the difference. So here's where I did the ink, here's where I did the Versamark. Flip it over. The left is the ink, and the right is the Versamark. So it just is going to depend what you want, right? What kind of look you want, all right? So let me, I'm thinking about, let me go ahead before I mess up. And I'm going to size this down to 5 1/4. I would tell you not to do like me, because right now I'm actually cutting this on top of something else because I really want this in. I wasn't planning, I thought I had it already sized down. I didn't realize it was longer, so I wasn't prepared to cut anything. But hey, you gotta flex and do. Alright, so on the first one here, I'm actually going to use this right here. I'm going to use the Versamark one. Alright, I'm just taking my cardstock. And so what I'm doing is, if you've watched a few of, I guess the last couple of times, maybe a little bit longer, what I've done is I've showed you how to use your scraps, right? So when you see this paper here, this is beautiful paper. And all this is the back side. So for the retreat on the card I just showed you, we've made some other cards for the retreat. I've just saved the scraps. So I had some 1-inch scraps, and they're all just the front back side of the scraps I have, right? So I'm going to take these and I'm going to put them up, but I'm going to put this underneath, all right? Let me make sure I got this short enough. Yep. Okay. All right, so we're going to put these on here, and then we're going to put it on the card. And all we're going to do is I'm going to take these 1-inch pieces. So these are now 1 and 5 inches, right? Because everything is sized down 1/4 of an inch. And all I'm going to do is rotate. And I really wanted my light blue first. We'll see. Sort of like a puzzle, right? Last night I liked it one way. Now is daylight and another day, right? So I have the right to change. Well, I have the right to change my mind anytime I want anyway. So, all right. So I've got this like here, and I want to lay out like this. But what I want to do is I want to lift it up for dimension, right? So that I'll be able to see that big sea turtle behind there a little bit better. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this. I know it sometimes it seems to hurt when you sit there and putting adhesive on something that's very pretty. But you know, it's just... But I can rotate these around too, right? I might. I'll move everybody down one. But, you know, I want to be able to get the dimensions. And you know what? I'm using those scraps. So I just don't sweat the small stuff. That's the small stuff. And I'm just going to put them down, right? And space them. That's all I'm going to do. And then I'm going to feed some ribbon. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to feed some ribbon. I think I'm just going to feed it across the whole thing. But I haven't decided yet. I've like toyed with that left and right, left and right, left and right. So we're just going to get these on here. And I'm using dimensionals because, right, I want to be able, so you'll see that when I sit there and put this up on dimensionals, I'm going to see that the shadow of the sea turtle better. And I chose the shadow of that. We'll see on the next one. I might choose to actually do the turtle itself. But we'll see. Because I'm going to be using... we're going to step it up, right? So it's all about stepping up, and what we're going to do next on stepping it up. So we just have to wait and see. So this paper depends on how you cut it, right? So what I did to get this is the one end of it. And so when I sat there and cut the other side, I made sure, did I do that right? Yeah. I made sure that I got the look I wanted from my leftover pieces so that I'd be able to do something like this. So it's just something as you learn and you do, the more you do, you just learn to sort of pick out some of that stuff and do things the way you want them and to get the look you want. You know, there are times I create too. I don't want you to think that I have to play around sometimes with stuff. It's not like it just instantaneously comes to me. Sometimes people think it's just, I'm born every morning to wake up and create. No, not really. It sort of comes and goes. And when it comes, I seize it. And there you go. So these are just 1-inch strips by 5 inches, and they were leftovers, right? My leftover pieces were actually 1x6s, so I had to cut them down just a little bit. All right, so I do have ribbon, and it matches real pretty with this, and I am just going to wrap it around, and I'm just going to put it down with a blue dot on the back. So the easiest way to do this is just to go ahead, and I'm just going to go ahead and put a glue dot here. Yes, I have the turtle on this side, but I'm only using one turtle. Okay, and I'm just going to anchor this, go ahead and anchor this down. This is a nice woven ribbon. It looks the same both ways. And I'm just going to come around. This is a new ribbon, so if you're wondering, this is definitely a new ribbon. And I'm just going to wrap it around here. And I'm going to put a glue dot here. Same thing, and I'll just trim it off, right? So you just put a glue dot and use your scissors, trim that off, and it is done. Now, oops, it didn't stick. Okay, just a second. Let me get another glue dot. So yes, if you're wondering, with preparing for the retreat, so you got to keep in mind when you're making 18 cards, right? So depending on how many people are at the retreat, is how many packets you have to make. So the thing is we have to have plenty of time to order materials, get them in, and make everything up. We have the prototype. We always have the prototypes and getting the PDF tutorials, but you still got to be able to order the stuff and get it. So that's sometimes why we have to set our deadlines accordingly. All right, so this is right here. So the other thing we're going to add, and I'm going to show you, we're going to do something a little different here. I'm going to stamp the turtle here, and then we are going to flick is what I said, some color on it. All right. So all I'm going to do, this is a cute little turtle. I love the beach. And I've never seen the little turtles on the beach, which is good because they, always you have to look out for the sea turtles. I've seen sea turtles in the jetties down in Corpus Christi. I've never actually seen little baby turtles coming out of the sand. So I plan on putting this on here. Now I did go ahead and cut this here because I still have to put a sentiment. This stamp set does not come with a sentiment, all right? So I don't know what sentiment I'm going to use yet, all right? But I am going to use some kind of sentiment. So I could put this right here, but I've got another choice as well too. So I'm going to do two things. One, I wanted to give it a little extra color. So what I was going to do is if you take, these are the Stampin' Blend pens, and this is the light pool party. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tip, and I'm just going to flick it across like this. And you can't necessarily see it, but I'm going to show you in a minute what it looks like. So when you get up close, look how it sits there and flicks the color on there. And it's real light because it's a light color. But you can see the spots where it flicks, and it just does it around it. It just gives it a nice look, and different look. So I'm just going to, right now, I can put it on right here like this. The other thing that I wanted to show you, because I wanted a little bit of the blue, but I still wanted to see the shadow of the big turtle back there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this here. It doesn't really matter which end. This is another thing you can do with the blending pens, and this is actually Night of Navy, because I really thought this was too much for this one here. We'll see about the next card. And I've done this with a sponge, but you can also do it with this pen. And you've also seen me do ink spots where I've done the same thing. But I can also take this pen and just go around the edges. And it's just going to give it the touch of the navy. And I'm going to pick up the navy color. So it's just an easy way. They also have some other pens. You must like to do the same thing. I just had these handy because I was working on something else. Everything getting ready for the retreat, right? So if some of the behind the scenes look of the retreat that you didn't see, that I've posted the pictures already, there is stuff everywhere, right? There's paper everywhere. There's kits being put together, made ready. So the nice thing about this is I changed to stats on you there. Is it gives me a little bit of the navy without, me creating another circle around. And see, I want just a little bit more. So if you want just a little bit more, that's fine. Just go like that. I might have went just a little bit much on that, but I would just cut, it's paper's porous, right? This paper's porous, so it's going to absorb the ink. Now that one might have gone a little bit heavy on, but that's okay. This is actually this die cut. It's the circles die cut, and so it's got like a little ridge that I'm actually capturing here. When you die cut it, it creates just a little ledge or ridge here. And I actually touched the pen too much there, but it's okay. I can put bling over it. Okay, so I like that because I gave it just a little bit more navy, but not too much, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put that up with dimensionals. So vision this. We are creating, 2 cards right now. And you can see what I've got all over the place here. And you can't even see quite what I got back around over here. But you'll see it in a minute when I bring some of it forward. And so imagine me doing that with 18 cards in a make and take. And a 3D project. So I've got like 18 piles. 18 piles. Cute. My husband loves me. Thank you. So there you go. I'm just going to put this here, and it'll be easy for me to come here and put a sentiment as well too. So I've got that set there, and then I'm just going to turn around and put it on here. Now, so same thing, I have choices. I am going to go ahead and put this up on dimensionals because for me right now it's all about dimensionals and height and really making this stick out. And you can see my ribbon's still hanging tough there because, you know, the glue dots will hold it there. And I'm just going to put the dimensionals here. And then we're going to do our stepped up card. So I don't have any sentiments right here right now, right? And the other thing is you got to keep in mind, so during the retreat, we've already been, so I have teammates that help me, have people on my team help me. You have to, something like this, we'll sit there and put a 4 by 5 1/4 insert on the inside so you can have that to sit up there and stamp your sentiment on the inside. So there you go. There is one card right there, okay? So let's do the next card. It's just pretty and simple. You know, we're not trying to make rocket science out of it. Now, just one of the things that we did, this is a leftover piece when I flicked the color, just to show you what kind of look. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I'm definitely not going to throw it away. I'm going to use it on something. I just don't know what that something is yet. But I do know that I can put a circle right here underneath it, and I could easily put something on top of it, right? Yeah, so it's shaping up. It's just not there yet. Okay, so this one I have not trimmed down yet, but again, these are all leftover pieces. So let me get this back for you. And in just a minute, when I get through too, I'll see if I can sort of zoom around here for you, show you. Let's see if I can do it right now. If I move the camera. Okay, so you can see I've got stuff. Okay, so just visualize. I've got a picture that I posted with the Easter rabbits I made. And, you know, it's just like that. Like I said, there's a lot of work that goes behind when we make cards for the retreat. So I created a nice mess. All right, so with the leftovers here, we're going to do some weaving, okay? And so what I'm going to do with the weaving is, so this is going to be our backdrop, right? And here's what we're going to have, what we stamped a minute ago. So I have choices. So I haven't decided yet. I'm going to first get my weaving done and show you what I'm talking about and put this aside. So the thing is this is what I always do, right? As I'm creating, I change my mind or I come up with another idea. So again, like I said, these are the pieces that are left over right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these and weave them. So if you've ever woven fabric, you might just woven paper too. I've woven paper before too. I was trying to think right off the hand what I've woven it for, but you know, I've woven different things. I just had to make sure I did it right? Same thing when I did with fabric. So once I get one started, it's really easier, usually for me, if I come through and I just sort of insert it like that. Once I at least get the first done. I've woven fabric before. Just, you know, we call it creating our own fabric, really. And then I'm just going to do this right here. So this one's going to be under, right? So it's just weaving. And I'm going to get this under here. Alright, so it's easier than it looks. And it's definitely easier when I'm not live. I don't know, when you're live it seems like it's 10 times harder or more. So I've got it already woven right here. So I'm going to leave some gaps in my weave. And we're going to see how that looks. Because I really want to see the sea turtle underneath. Sort of reminds me of riding a raft or something is what it reminds me of. And I haven't cut it off yet because I'm first going to put it under here and see how we like it. Because actually when I did it with the other. Oh yeah, to see that way it looks like you can see the sea turtle underneath. So yes, I want to see the sea turtle instead of the shadow. Because you know what, if you've ever gone, this paper reminds me of going snorkeling, or I haven't been scuba diving, but I've definitely been snorkeling, and I've definitely been down the Bahamas with a really clear water, and I've also been to Redang Island down in Malaysia, and the water is just so clear, and when you snorkel and all, it feels like you can reach out and touch the animals, and I shouldn't say animals, sea creatures, but you really can't, right? So I'm going to weave this like this, but I'm going to lift it up, all right? I'm just going to lift it up by putting the dimensionals, right? So when I do this, and I'm gonna have to do some adhesive here. Let me go ahead and do that. I don't have to do it everywhere, but I need, you know, and I need to at least do it at the beginning. And actually, glue dots might be easier. So I'm going to have to at least do it at the ends, right? Okay, so all I'm going to do then is let me get some glue dots in here just to anchor this down, because I got to cut it as well, right? So I have to have it at least anchored down. When I made this last night, it was no big deal. So, all right. So I'm just going to anchor these guys down, at least on the ends, right? At least for sure one end, right? You got to at least get it anchored down, because you know you're going to trim it. But at least got to get it so it's not, you can see how it wants to wiggle around. Well, that's what's going to happen because we're dealing with paper. Fabric doesn't quite, well, I shouldn't say that, because when I've done fabric, I actually used pins to pin the stuff down as I wove, but I was also weaving a lot more stuff, right? So you're going to have to at least have something so it's not going to keep on shifting and moving, because you can see how easily the paper wants to shift and move. All right. So I'm just going to keep on and get this one anchored down. And then you're going to see it's not going to quite shift and move as much, but I'll still have to work with it, right, until I get the at least the other end pieces anchored. And I'm not going to worry about the ends right now, because I can use my paper trimmer and just trim off the ends. So for my quilters out there that's done this kind of stuff before, or people that have actually gone out there and created your own fabric, I'll have to show you that someday. I did create my own fabric doing this, and I haven't used it today because it really became more like a piece of artwork. You know, and that's what you get into. Some of this stuff becomes more like a piece of artwork than just something you just go and share and give away, right? So I'm just going to put a couple of dots here and do the same thing. I'm going to anchor the top up there, and I think we should be good. We'll find out in a minute. Again, like I said, everything live is different than when you're sitting calmly, drinking some hot cocoa, water, or whatever. I think last night I was drinking water, getting my water in. Okay, so we already know this one's anchored, right? So let me not even worry about the middle at the moment. I really just need to get the ends anchored. It really helps. And I'm not giving up, because this was beautiful. It's really beautiful when you get it done. And that's why some of this stuff, you know, you see at the retreat, we'll try to do something that's challenging, but most probably not quite as challenging. So if you're wondering if something like this is at the retreat, no. This is something that I would do like we're doing tomorrow with a private class with somebody, where we'll take the time and that we're not worried about the fact that we're trying to get 18 cards done in X amount of time or anything like that. We're just going to take our time and learn the skills and do different things, right? So that's what we have private classes for. So let me get some more inks, some dots down here, and we're going to get this baby up. We get up and trimmed. And patience is a virtue. So sometimes these things do try our patience, right? Depends on the day and the week for me. Some days everything just goes just fine. Like last night, everything was going fine. And then now it's like, okay, it's a test, right? And I would tell you, even at the retreat before, I was stamping something one time, and you know, I didn't have any problems. For whatever reason, live, I was just, whatever, I wasn't doing something right. It wasn't holding my mouth right or whatever, but you know what? Didn't quit. We just kept on going, and if I have problems with something, then I just move on. I'm not going to sit there and sweat the small stuff. Because this isn't something to get all upset about, right? It's something that you can put aside and do a later time or whatever. Okay, so finally got this here. So I'm going to want this to go right over here, and it can be to the side, I don't care, but I have to slice it down because it's definitely too long. So let me get the paper trimmer, and I'm going to move this out of the way this time. Yeah. Because I want the same look, right? So I'm just going to trim the edges right down here, so I've got everything for sure exactly the same. And the brown is the trimmer. So it wasn't that off. I just had a little smidgen here that I need to get the stuff off. And then I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to guesstimate about the same distance. I don't care if it's a little bit longer or shorter, preferably longer, right? But the main thing is I still got my look. So I'll have these left over that I can do something with if I want. Alright, so now I'm just going to do what I did with the other. It's just a different look, right? It takes a little bit more skill, and I might have to come back. You can see I'm going to have to put glue dots here because it's going to shift. Man, I thought that was... Whatever, right? It's easy to slip a glue dot under here. Just press on it, then tug it out, and it'll be just fine. And I'm going to keep on tugging it because it's going to be fine. There we go. Alright. Okay. And I'm not going to worry about it because I'm just going to put this up on dimensionals right here. So I'm just going to put it right up here so you'll be able to see the sea turtle underneath. Now I could just as easily put it right here if I wanted to, right? But I'm not. I'm just going to put it right here. Okay, so I'm just going to put this on dimensionals. I'm definitely going to anchor this little baby down there that wants to move on me. And I'm going to anchor it right here too. So I plan on anchoring that. And for me, it just reminds me of, like I said, a float or a raft. I'd be able to look down, look through, and see the sea turtle. You know what I didn't do on the other one that we'll be sure to do here is we're going to put that bling on here because there is some beautiful bling. Okay, so I can still see the sea turtle. In this one, I was going to go ahead and stamp the turtle and put it right here. And I'm just going to put this to the side down here. Okay, because that way I can still see the turtle in the background. And I can still put a sentiment. And put a sentiment on the inside. Now, I might have to do something with that right there. It's not coming down like I want it to, but I can put that down dimensional. Now, this one I didn't flick, but we can flick it, right? Let's see here a second if I flicked it with this, what it would look like. I'm just going to flick it on the back side of this. Ooh. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, let me set that aside. I didn't realize that other side looked like that. Alright, I'll just flick it right here so you can just sort of see, we can see how dark it's going to be. Where's my turtle I just did? Okay, there you go. Alright, so let me just do the back side of this so we can see. So as you can see how that looks. So I am okay with that. Alright, so I'm just going to flick a little on the outside of my turtle. I didn't really want to hit the turtle, but I'm just lightly tapping it, okay? Not trying to make it major league, but just enough to, so you can see it on the paper, right? Alright. So when I go to put this down, I am going to put it on here. And I'm just going to use adhesive, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on dimensionals, but we're going to do a little bit different here, right? Because if I'm going to put this right here, and I'm going to come back and put a sentiment, this is already on dimensionals, so I want to make sure my dimensionals are going to be on the outside, and I can use tape up here at the top, right? So I'm just going to put some tape at the top. And then I'm going to put some, because that'll make it stick, and then I'm just going to put, make sure I got that right, dimensionals down here on the bottom. And that way it keeps the height of everything the same. I could put ribbon. I didn't plan on putting ribbon. I just wanted to anchor this down, like right here, and I can put a sentiment on it, right? But just keep in mind, we're still going to put this on our card. Alright? So I'm going to put this on dimensionals just like I did the other one. And you know, I could wrap ribbon if I wanted. But I don't, I think the ribbon would be too much because I've already got this right here, right? If I was going to add ribbon, I'd most probably want to weave it in with this here. And I'm not going to do that because I want to be able to see the turtle that's underneath. Alright? So, We're going to put this down, and then we'll have 2 cute cards that we still got to put sentiments on. So I have to think of what sentiments. But you know, the thing is this paper here, which is Night of Navy, is really makes the colors pop. So I know I'm most probably going to do that. But for right now, we just want to get the cards made so I can show you. And this was just taking 1-inch strips and weaving it, and then we just used the reversible turtle to make these 2 cards. And that was not complicated at all last night, so I don't appreciate it being a challenge today. Woo, woo. So there you go. That's what we made today. Thank you, Linda. It is cool, and I really like it. One thing we are missing, Linda, is bling. Let me get that bling I brought, because this bling is stunning. It is the flat adhesive pearls. And I'm just going to put some of these on here because this is just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. You can put them anywhere. And I'm just going to put them up here. And then I'm going to put some of these little ones right here. Well, it's always hard to decide where to put them, right? Okay, and I'm just going to put a couple over here. And it just looks like you're in the ocean, right? So there's one of the cards that we created, 2 that we've created today using our 1-inch strips left over from By the Bay. Whoop, whoop. I love bling. I'm in a bling family. So these are just quick and easy to use from, like I said, the 1-inch strips that were left over. And again, I just wanted to show you the card, one of the cards from the retreat. This is 1 of 18. So it's just, you know, we do it all in between for you. I'll even give you a sneak peek on the inside. So there you go. So there's a lot of work. I would tell you right now, this particular card that we did has at least 1, 2, 3, 4 die cuts. 4 die cuts on it. So when you think about it, you know, and people say, well, this, I'm not going to worry about that. I didn't get that back like it had. So this one at least has 4 die cuts where you literally crank it through the machine and make it. So they all have different things and so forth and on. Like I said, we have the tutorials that we provide. Everything is in the packet. But look at how this all looks together. Whoop, whoop. So if you haven't registered, tomorrow it's the last day, and it's, well, we do have a limit, so I don't know. As far as I know, there's still a couple left there for sure. All right, so like I said, if you want to register for the retreat, tomorrow's the deadline. Because you're right, we have to finish making everything. We have packets made up, but we have some more that we have a quantity that once it's filled up, then it's done, right? And we'll make some, but, right, you have to have the product and you have to have everything ordered. Thank you, Deborah. And thank you, everybody, for joining in, because it's just like here today and the classes in the retreat. It's all about going out, creating, having fun. You know, the classes and the retreat gets you away from the world and just creating time and being able to socialize with other people. But it's also about having fun and going out there, creating, sharing, and giving. So be sure to go do that. And if you enjoyed it today, be sure to follow us not only here on Facebook, but also we're on YouTube, Pinterest, and Instagram. And yay, I finally got out a newsletter. So if you want to sign up for the newsletter and get updated information and a card that we will be making, then be sure to sign up. All right, with that, be blessed and look forward to seeing you next week with Keep It Simple or Step It Up. Judy Allan here, San Antonio, Texas. Bye.